I do wrong, better give me the work. One like a jumper, I'm feeling like Dirk. My page are addy, they wanna come lurk. They only feel good if they post it on perks. Living my life and it comes with the perks. Knew I could fuck when she gave me the smirk, but it was so easy, it gave.
What's good? MarlonmadethatTV back with another video, and today I got Joseline's Cabaret episode 4. You feel what I'm saying? But before we get into that, make sure y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notification bells to be updated with all forms of new content. Other than that, we're gonna jump straight into it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Joseline's intro, that should be hitting. I be turning up to that and I be lit. Like, I ain't gonna lie, her song she got in the vote be crazy. Once it cuts back to the one night only, Isis is in the pool getting Drea's wig, which I found kind of funny because it's like, what? And it was just so much chaos from when Gypsy fought Erica. Like, everyone's just everywhere, yelling, screaming. It was just a lot. So they cut to Gypsy on the balcony, and she says her final thoughts. And she's not going back and forth with none of the girls. She doesn't want to keep fighting and doing all that. But I will say, jumping her was unnecessary. Like, it was never that deep for them to just jump her. I get, like, Erica is Joseline's best friend, but it's wrong that they all ganged up on her and y'all just hitting her, smacking her, doing all types of shit. So we get Gypsy's final thoughts and her exit. So then it cuts to Drea in the living room. It cuts to Drea in the living room, and she got on like this graphic suit, like this black sparkly suit, but it looked like the graphic suits you do for games and stuff like that. It was funny. I'm not gonna hold you. So she's talking to the new girls, like G, Baby, Love, and some of the new girls, and she said if tonight was just too much for them, then they need to go home because this is only the beginning, you know? So then Sky enters the chat, and she says to Drea, it was weird that she fought Danny at the reunion because she thought they were cool and best friends, but Drea explained to her that that's something that they do, and they're gonna be like a love and hate relationship. That's just what they have. So it cuts back to outside, and Des goes to check Chinks about their issue from the reunion, and Des wants to know if Chinks still, needs that or whatever. So they're just bickering like back and forth. Erica is trying to mediate it between them, but it was really just kind of unnecessary. Like, Des was just mad at the fact that of what just happened. So she just like wanted to see if Chinks still wanted a problem, but they don't resolve their issues for real. So some of the Cabaret ladies get ready to go to bed. So it cuts to Joseline and Erica, and Joseline tells her that Gypsy only did that because she wanted a moment. She wanted to go viral and things of that nature. But I don't know, because Erica gives petty. And I know y'all saw what happened on Love and Hip Hop when she called Spice a monkey and things of that nature and had to leave the network. I only feel Zeus picked up her 2 ways of Erica Minute because she was doing that for her image and to clear it up. You get what I'm saying? Like, she still probably feel that way about black people. So to see black women try to defend her when Gypsy was fighting her, it just, I don't know. That's a wild scene. So T, Love, and Egypt end up pulling up on Erica, just checking on her, you feel what I'm saying? And I felt like that jumping shit was weird. I felt it was, dumb. But Erica, she congratulates them and thanks them for just defending her and being there. And Joseline, she like, damn, like, y'all bitches don't be doing that for me. But, she thanks them anyway. So it cuts to the next day, and Joseline's in the room with Ballistic talking about, the one night only. And Joseline mentions that Isis doesn't really fuck with her for real. And this was weird because Joseline was popping it at Isis. Like, I don't know what you expect. Like, you said you do more for the girls than their mothers do. You call them all type of $2 whores, bitches. Like, they're not gonna respect you. Like, they respect you because you put money in their pocket. They fuck with you. But you just disrespect them wholly. Like, you can't expect them to want to kiss your ass. You feel me? And Isis, she stand up for herself, so she's not wrong. But Joseline said she was silent, and she should have been, oh, I love you, Joseline. I love you, da-da-da-da. Like, no, she don't mess with you like that. And she get mad. So she has plans that the girls are going to dance today, and that she mentions also Blimmy bringing up the strip club that they're going to build for her, or the Cabaret strip club. So then it cuts to Sky, Lexi Gold, Kayla, and they're in the kitchen, and then Neek, Des, and Erica end up joining them. Lexi Gold puts them on that she missed last night because she went to the eye doctor because of the hit of Chinks. Like, Chinks did something to her retina or her eye, like when she hit her on the bus, so she had to get that checked out, and she couldn't dance later on that day because she's still injured. So the girls get to talking about Love's comments, and Gypsy mentioning how Love said fuck the OGs and things of that nature. And I just feel like it's like, even if she said it or not, y'all all competing for 50,000, and you gotta understand, like, there's no friends in this shit. You know what I mean? Y'all could be buddied up cool and have like acquaintances and maybe even after the show, but ultimately it's every individual for themselves. Y'all are competing for a prize. Like, I don't know, that I think it'd be slipping their mind. So All right, Love and this wrestler girl, I forget her name, but they're in the room talking, and she addresses them. Love mentions that the comment that she said about fuck the OGs, and she said like they need to not take it to heart because sometimes I say shit and I forget. And I don't know, it was kind of weird because it's like if you have a medical issue of memory problems and things of that nature, should you be on a show like this, you know? So I don't know. I just felt like she didn't really want to fight a lot of them, especially like a girl like Chinks or some shit. She big as hell. Oh my gosh. So hold on, where is that? Boom, boom, boom. All right, boom. So Egypt goes in to check on T Love, and she asks her about the whole Chink situation and will they ever, resolve their issues or be cool. She said nah because, she's weird, and she scratched her face. And Egypt says that Chink's only storyline was Lexi Go. Like the only time she ever had like something meaningful was with Lexi Go. So she needs to find a new storyline because that shit weak is lame as hell. So it cuts back to the kitchen, and apparently Love and the wrestling girl go to the kitchen. They enter the scene now. Mind you, Neek and all the other girls were just talking about Love's comments. So Love enters, and Neek checks Love for what she said about the OGs. But Love sitting here just acting like she don't know what she talking about. She act like random, pretending as if nothing was even said or nothing happened. So that was like kind of odd. Then it cuts back to Egypt and T Love, and now she asks her about Miss Natural, and we get a little bit more explanation as to why they're beefing. So basically, Miss Natural was cool with T Love and her sister, but I think she was more cool with the sister. They had bookings that they had to do, but I guess Natural wasn't really feeling it, and she wasn't really fucking with it, so she just like was popping it and stuff like that. So that leads them to end up getting into it, and Miss Natural ends up punching T Love little sister, and then at the event, at the booking, so then the girls ended up jumping her like really bad, like truly just out the frame. So that's where they'd be sent from. I didn't know that, but we also get Miss Natural side, but I'll get into that later. Oh yeah. We find out that Miss Natural and T Love gave Joseline an ultimatum on rather they be on tour. So they both said, if you invite her to tour, I'm not going. If you invite her to tour, I'm not going. So Joseline said, you know what, fuck both you bitches. Y'all not going. So she cut both of them from the tour. And she thought it was like just going to be a conflict between them, which, apparently it is. And then we also find out, and I literally forgot when I watched the New York season, Miss Natural and Egypt are exes. Like they fucked around with each other during that time. But it also finds out that Miss Natural tried to stop Egypt bag. Like she was telling promoters that if you book her, I'm not going to be there. I'm not gonna pull up at your bookings. I'm not gonna do what y'all want me to do. No, don't hire her. So she wasn't getting booked like that. You feel me? So she like, dang, she stopped your bag. It was crazy. So then it comes back to the kitchen. Nika is still pressing Love about the comment she said about the OGs. You feel what I'm saying? She just said, if you, it was something Love said, and then she said, oh, you just putting words in my mouth. Before, when they in the scene before with the kitchen, and then after Neek said, oh, you said I was putting words in your mouth, and she was like, Love said, oh, I never said that. I'm like, damn. So Neek like, oh, here you go lying again and stuff like that. So they're like, all right, let's just go get ready and start dancing. So Neek tells Love before they go, hey, watch what you say. Like, you need to watch your mouth. And then Love said, I don't do threats. I don't do the threats. And then Neek like, it's not a threat. I'm telling you. And I'm like, ooh, maybe that's a beef later on that gets, who knows, that shit bubbling. So then it cuts to the balcony. It's Chinks, Isis, Jane Doe, and Miss Natural. And they talk about what happened at the one night only. G-Baby ends up coming back outside, so she goes with them. So they're talking, and they're asking Chinks, like, the issue, is there still an issue with her and Lexi Go? So Chinks said, we're going to fight every day. Like, she said she want to fight, we're going to fight every day. And Isis says to Chinks, why you and Lexi keep fighting? And Chinks said it's still up. But Isis let it be known that she fucks with Lexi Go over her. So if she's popping her shit and talking her shit, it's a rightfully so thing. And I said, ooh, I respect that because she wasn't fake or nothing. She just kept it real with her. So Chinks is like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll give a fuck about that shit. I don't care. So then Ocean, Drea, and Danny come outside to the girl. It was so weird because, like, they hugged everybody. It was cool. Like, even Isis and Danny hugged. And Danny, I was like, why would you ask Isis for a fade? Like, y'all was just fine. Y'all made up. What was like that? So she's like, oh, you've been disrespecting Joseline, and Joseline been feeling disrespected by you. You need to act right. And I'm talking about Isis asked her, like, oh, you want to fight? do you want to fight? So Danny like, yeah, I want to fight. So then Isis start whooping Danny ass. I'm talking about them glasses went flying off the screen. I think them shits went over the balcony. Like how hard Isis punched Danny. I just seen her glasses motherfucking took a plane trip. I swear on myself, like that shit was wild. So boom, Isis whoops Danny, obviously. Ooh, that knot. They zoomed in on her knot. I said, oh my gosh, it was right by her eyelid. I said, damn, Danny, I don't know what happened to Danny. Danny used to get down, but now she getting tore. So now they're trying to like have a resolution. Like Ocean just says, talk it out, like figure out what's the problem, because she knows that Isis and Joseline aren't at even odds right now. So she's just like, we could talk about this. Like, y'all, you need to have a personal conversation. And shout out to Ocean, because you know what I'm saying, she's standing on business and she didn't have to like fight or jump in. And that's mature, because her and Isis was fighting at the reunion in last season. So that's dope that they was able to, you know, have a conversation. So Ocean checks Ocean checks G Baby for being snappy. Now, I don't know exactly verbatim what happened, how it happened, who happened, but apparently Ocean's wanted some weed or wanted to smoke her weed, and G Baby was like, oh, no, this my weed or some shit like that. So it was just like a problem. So Oceans wasn't feeling that, and Isis wasn't either. Like, she was just like, oh yeah, you need to like watch your attitude and stuff. And G Baby said, I don't gotta watch nothing, you know what I'm saying? So Oceans and G Baby get into it. Isis like, oh, she gonna whoop her ass. And I'm not gonna lie, Oceans, I don't know, Ocean's been on one. She been whooping everything. Ocean's got that. Like, she was whipping G Baby, you know. So G Baby's just like, yeah, they wanted a TV moment. They just wanted some clout. I guess, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, like Ocean, she been eating this season. She been doing her shit so far. So it cuts to Joseline, and now Joseline is going to sit down with T Love and talk about Natural, because clearly they need to figure something out before they go on tour and start making this money, because it's gonna be friction. It can't be friction at the club when they dancing, you know. So Joseline said that she said it was wild that her sisters jumped her until she peed. Like, that was like ridiculous. It was wild, and there needs to be some type of resolution they need to come to. So Natural just like, oh, it's whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't give a fuck about it. Like, you know, but if she wants smoke, if she wants a problem, we can have that. Like, we can do that. So she's just like, okay. So she was going to bring T Love to Miss Natural, because Miss Natural was downstairs smoking a blunt. So Joseline ends up bringing Miss Natural to T Love so that they could have a conversation. They start talking a little bit about their situation. This is where Natural goes in and explains what happened. She said that there was a booking for 2 days. T Love was being hella drunk, acting messy, and she didn't know how to conduct herself, and she didn't like that. So she checked her and confronted her, and then she said something to the sister, but then the sister said something sideways, and then they start getting the thumping, and that's how she got jumped. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, it was just up between them. It was stuck, you know what I mean? So they're trying to have a conversation, but it just ends up leading to like a fight, you know what I mean? And I'm not even gonna hold you. I can't say who got it. I maybe Miss Natural a little more. Maybe I gotta watch it in slow motion. I'm gonna watch it back in slow-mo, but I just don't see. I don't know. That fight was weak to me round one. That was just like, like it was just like they was just throwing anything. So then they go for a second round. Like, it was high-key weak as fuck. But it was funny because mid-fight, T Love started throwing up gang signs. She just like, bitch, on B. Like, who thought, like, you're fighting somebody. Why are you throwing up gang signs mid-fight, bro? That shit was hilarious, yo. T Love is a key. So they run 2 rounds. Honestly, at that part, I don't know. Maybe Miss Natural, I would say second and third, because, like, you feel me? She was in there. So they get to the talking, and T Love's just like, oh, you didn't ever apologize. Like, you apologized to my sister, but you didn't apologize to me. And she said it still could be up. So Joseline's like, did y'all get it out? Are y'all done? So she said, do you want another round? You want another round? So then Natural's on the grass. Like, she's just chilling. She just like, no, like, not that she didn't want to fade, but she was just like, oh, I had love for your sister. I fuck with your sister. So then T Love, you just fought her. Why would you go to her with your guard down? And, like, it just didn't make sense. So T Love ends up walking off the stairs, going towards Miss Natural on the grass. And when I tell you, Miss Natural dropped the shit out of T Love, she put her straight in get in the grass, Like, it was just one of those. Like, she hit her with a mean right, and they ended right there, and it cuts off to next week. But this episode was a key. I ain't gonna hold you. It was really interesting. It was funny. Like, it was everything like you could want in an episode. But I want them to get to the dancing. Like, that's what we're here for. You know what I mean? So next episode look like they're more into that. But, you know, if you stay to the end, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on post notification bells to be notified with all forms of new content. And I will see y'all next video. Peace.